I'm honored to be here today sitting with you. Glenn Wilkinson, you're a man that I consider a good friend, which is kind of,
I've only met twice.
yeah, this is day 3 of in person, so that's kind of crazy. But of course, our connection goes back 3 months now. We've been on multiple calls, but only met you in person this week, and just crazy that we ever even got connected. I know we've been saying how crazy that is, and now we're sitting here together today. So, Glenn Wilkinson from Ballymena, Ireland.
Ballymena, Northern
Northern Ireland, where it's always a lovely day.
Well, it is. We have a very wet climate, and it rains a lot, and hence everything is green. It's stunning countryside, and it's just that Reading is nice. Reading is nice, but if it had a little bit more greenery, it would be even better.
Well, the 100 degrees doesn't help there. You said it gets what, high 70s is hot for Ballymena? Is that right? What's
70s?
I guess we're talking Fahrenheit here, yeah.
We're in America.
Yeah, we're in America.
It's the same with kilograms and pounds.
Yeah,
I think at home 20 would be a really warm day. That's going to be maybe 70.
Okay.
It took us away, Gillian and the kids, to acclimatise. I think yesterday was 41.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Takes some getting used to.
Yeah.
Well, Glenn, just a couple things here. Not that any of these titles define you in and of themselves, but just some stuff that I know of you. I think first and foremost, you would say you're a man of faith.
100%. That's my relationship with God, my relationship with Jesus. If that has to come first, and then it would be God, then family, then work. So I think if you prioritize, your faith first, then hopefully everything else comes into place. Not all the time.
Yeah. Well, it makes me feel good how I have it listed here, because I put man of faith, husband, father, an online fitness coach, and founder of Grindstone. Is it Grindstone Foundation? Is that the technical?
My website, excuse the plug. That's
what we're doing.
Grindstonefoundation.com.
Okay.
So that's where all my programs are, etc. It's not fancy pants. So I have these sort of terms that I use, Ryan, to describe things. And one of them is it's not fancy pants. That probably just means it's not, plush or I don't really know.
Special.
Yeah.
Just done up. Yeah.
Just fun. It's not fancy pants.
Yeah.
Do you know what fancy pants is?
Yeah. Oh, I followed you long enough to pick up on it. But then the other thing that you do, you're a pro soccer trainer. What's the technical term for gender?
A strength and conditioning coach for a professional soccer team. And so we don't even say soccer. We football. Ballymena United, the mighty Sky Blues. Any Ballymena United fans out there, big up to Ballymena United. Yeah. We didn't do particularly well last season. Our league has 10 teams, and we finished 8th. So we're hoping to really push on and to raise the level of professionalism with our manager and our board. And Ballymena, we're a one-town club, so we're a bit of a sleeping giant with a beautiful stadium, great fans, great players. But I think we just need maybe the rub of the green.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means?
I don't, but yeah. I'm sitting here saying anyway.
The rub of the green just means maybe, if you believe in luck, which I don't, but maybe the likes of me coming in and creating more of a culture of professionalism with nutrition and training and mindset, and just helping to journey with the lads to improve their performance, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well.
Sure. How long have you been doing that?
Well, I was a strength and conditioning coach for a team again in Northern Ireland called Larne Football Club, and we were very successful. We won the Irish League 2 years running, which is totally unheard of, and we were the first team to qualify for European playoff competition, which was, for it's a small town in Northern Ireland, it's quite a small place. So I'm not saying that was all down to me, but I was part of a team,
Sure.
which was great.
Yeah. So obviously, you're far away from Ballymena. What brings you to Reading?
Well, my daughters are attending the Bethel Worship School. Obviously, we're Christians. We try to resource ourselves. My daughter's Grace is 19, and Ruby is 16, and my son Ross is with us as well. He's 23. So we're just trying to expose them to Northern Ireland. Is brilliant, but it's a tiny wee place, and we're trying to expose them to that it's a big world out there, and meeting people and experiencing things and having opportunities that I probably never had, or Gillian never had growing up. Actually getting a wee bit emotional as usual, forgive me. So investing in their future, but investing in God, and and dreaming big. Like, I'll be honest, Ran, for my wee family to come to California, to Bethel, to be sitting here doing this, it's like something I gotta pinch myself sometimes. I'm very thankful for the opportunity, and it's mind blowing.
Yeah. And you guys are heading to LA next?
Yes,
And
we are.
what's going on there?
So I have some meetings with different people in the fitness industry, in the fitness world, in media. Again, it all sounds fancy pants. I'm just a guy who shoots videos in the garage. I'm going to Gold's Gym to train with a famous trainer. I'm meeting up with some product people and everything. And as I say, it all sounds very fantastic, and it can be a little bit overwhelming.
Yeah.
Because this whole social media journey has been very rapid.
Well, yeah, you've blown up. I think you have 270 some thousand followers, and you said it's been 8 months that you've been posting.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
I know, and I don't really understand why. I think I just document what I do in life, whether it be it's not just fitness. I try to. Gillian thinks that I can be a little bit too open. I'm very vulnerable and very open, and I just post, if I'm going to church, or if I'm driving down the road, or if I'm working out, or if I've got. I love my 70s style clothes.
Yeah.
So if I'm wearing a big pair of fleurs or something, hopefully I'm just the same guy on that social media side of things as you know me in real life,
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a crazy journey.
Well, I think we've talked about this, but I think that's why you've gained popularity, is because it's authentic. People feel like they know you, and so they're bought in. Every post they're hanging on. So
Except when you get it wrong, when you say that you're in San Francisco and you're going to drive to California and you're already in
but you
California.
leave it, and that's what I think makes you special. Everyone else is out there trying to doctor things up, and they would have probably reshot it and reposted, but you leaving that in there, I think, is part of what makes you special.
I think it's quite difficult to make something look stupid. Like I have an ability of doing that.
Well, I wanted to get in because you've been in fitness for a long time now, so just want to talk about kind of that journey, your timeline. I know you had many different markers or seasons within that, but why don't you first take us back to where it all began, and just knowing you, maybe would you say that's the pro soccer experience that you had?
So at 16 in the UK, to be a professional footballer is maybe like you guys wanting to be a professional baseball player or American football guy. So I was sort of destined to be a professional footballer from a young age. God had given me some athletic prowess. I was fast, I was fit, and I was strong. And even back then, I always had big legs and very powerful. So at 16, I moved to London from, considering Ballymena as a tiny wee town. I went to London on my own at 16, which was life-changing experience and opportunity. Unfortunately, I didn't make it. I got very close. I knocked on the door at 3 years at Chelsea Football Club. It was slightly different back in the day, and I was an apprentice, then I became a professional. Didn't make it, and looking back, probably God had his hand on that.
Sure.
You know, who knows what would have happened if I had of, you know. But if you believe that God's in control, but which I do, then I had to accept that.
Yeah.
So it was quite difficult. There was maybe a bit of, you know, I think maybe being rejected at 19 had some ramifications to the person that I am now. You know, when you're saying, well, you're not good enough, you know, you're on this, basically I was on the scrap heap at 19. What am I going to do? I thought my future had been mapped out, you know, stardom and fame and all the trappings that goes with that, but wasn't meant to be. But I do think that rejection at 19 really spurs me on even now. I have vivid memories. I can remember the day at 19 when I was either going to sign the contract, listen, your life-changing contract. I can remember it if it was yesterday, and that, you have those memories, they last. And it wasn't pleasant, but it's made me who I am today.
So after the soccer deal, what'd you do after that in relation to fitness?
So this is fitness at 19. So my soccer career finished at 19. I'm nearly 55 now, and this is the only job I've ever had. I've always been in the fitness industry. Started off just working in regular gyms, and I was an aerobics instructor, a swimming instructor, and I've done competitive natural bodybuilding. I've sprinted, triathlon, you name it. I have seen every trend, every new fad that come. I remember I used to teach this class, and you have like this, do you know, like a vinyl that breakdancers?
Yeah.
So we used to, and you have to put these big slippers on, and used to go
Slide, yeah.
and I've done step aerobics with the headbands, and I have done everything, and then I have a bit of a sort of experience on most genres, CrossFit, high rocks is big now. I was a competitive natural bodybuilder, which probably took over my life. I got out of bodybuilding because I've always been a natural athlete. I believe for with longevity and looking after yourself, and I wanted to do things the right way. And again, I'm not making any judgment. If someone wants to go down that performance enhancing drugs route, that's entirely up to themselves. But I try to keep things. But I do keep things as natural as possible.
Yeah. So you were a CrossFit athlete and pursuing that for a bit. When was that, and what did that season look like?
So I love CrossFit. I love the methodology. I love the constantly varied training. It's great community, but it did sap me, right? It took all my energy. Some of the intensity trying to get to the games. For 4 years, I was get to the games. This was my dream. And again, in life, my bar is up here. I have no grey areas in my life. Again, that's maybe going back to that sort of rejection at 19. Everything I do, I try to do 100%, and sometimes that can be really exhausting, and I am working on that. I'm trying to have a little bit more, not my bar not quite as high. Not really working, being honest at the minute, but CrossFit, the intensity to try and get to the games, the recovery, what prevented me getting there. I had the gymnastic skills and the cardio. I'm just not a big dude. Most of the guys in my category, maybe 85, 90 kilograms, and when you're snatching and cleaning and jerking, that was a big issue for me. That helps, and as you know, like you're twice the size of me. You're big, strong guy, but weight moves weight.
Yeah.
Don't know what you're like at the 30 reps behind you. That's another.
You've been putting me to shame this week.
That's another story. So yes, again, I just missed out getting to the games, and they were taking 20, and I just missed out in the latter stages of the semi-finals. But I would encourage people, to try as many different genres as possible. I think CrossFit has a life. A lifespan. I don't think, unless you're Rich Froning and you're just a crazy athlete, there's only a training at that level of intensity.
Yeah,
it's tough.
Well, it's a sport is what I consider. I did it for 7 years and through my 20s, and when I love it. I think it was, as far as just overall fitness, go run a mile as fast as you can and then come in and back squat as much as you can. Probably the best shape I was ever in that way. But I think for the general public, and longevity, which is a word you use a lot, I don't know that it's sustainable or what everybody should be doing.
Yeah.
So
a certain time in my central nervous system, I just absolutely fried.
Yeah. How old were you when you were pursuing that?
Well, that was only 2 years ago. So okay. I started CrossFit at 49, and I retired at 53 many years now. I'm piking on fingers.
So then, since then, back to a kind of a bodybuilding style, or what would you consider what you do now?
I wouldn't say bodybuilding.
Okay.
I would classify myself as a body shaper.
Okay. There you go.
So again, if I have like a big t-shirt on, if I had like a Smitty Belt Fitness, or so my friend's going to get me one of those, you wouldn't know that I had any sort of, not being fancy pants, but shape at all. I quite like that. So I'm 74 kilos soaking wet. Do you know what that means?
Yeah, that's an American term.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah,
I've stolen that from you. I don't know what that is in pounds.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So you Americans need to get into
Let's
it.
do something.
Aye, so it's I'm not a big dude.
Yeah.
But I try to shape, and I know there's nothing new in fitness, Ryan, but I think I've honed in a strategy of maybe 5 or 6 things that I do well, and very simple. I don't believe that fitness is complicated. I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but I do the simple things really well, and I do those simple things really well consistently. I think that's the key, to creating a physique, to creating with longevity. It's the buzzword longevity, but I've been doing longevity for 35 years, and I think all the stuff that I've done over the simple stuff, that like the carbs, the right carbs, the sleep, that I'm not reinventing the wheel. Lifting weights, mobility, range of movement. There's loads of things that. So if, just say for example, I'm trying to sculpt my body, I'm paying close attention to when I eat my carbs, what time I'm eating the carbs, when I'm eating the fats, and over time I think I've got it pretty dialed in. As I say, maybe 5 or 6 things that I do, like we chatted about things that you could just make that a little bit, those little 1%, as I call it.
Yeah. So what exactly are you doing now? And I mean in reference to your whole Grindstone thing.
Okay, so
Let's round off that.
Grindstone Foundation's been going maybe 8 months, and I have some programs that are able, you can purchase them through my website, grindstonefoundation.com, and so I have a couple of programs. My foundation program is what it says on the tin. It's foundation. It's squatting. It's benching. It's deadlifting. But it's structure, right? I designed Grindstone Foundation for guys who have had some gym experience, but they go into the gym and they do a bit of this, a bit of that, and there's no structure, there's no mobility, there's no flow. I'm a bit of a control freak, and when you go into the gym, I like things to be smooth. We're doing this at this stage, this at this. So it's foolproof. You follow it on your app. And there's attached videos and there's calls from me. I do it all myself. I don't have a team behind me. It's just, and with the social, I try to respond to every single message, which is difficult sometimes, but I think if people give me the time to give me a message, I'll try and respond. And my new program is Grindstone Sculpt, which is my volume. I love volume. I love the ability to do 30 reps at 25% of your body weight. I have had some sessions since I've been here at Smitty Built Fitness, and it takes a while. I probably do myself out of business when I say this mightn't be for everyone, because it is difficult. It 30 reps takes you to a dark place. But I believe, if I was doing 30 reps on a bicep, it just creates density. It just creates symmetry. I get passionate about talking about it. So Grindstone Sculpt, it is a slightly higher version of foundation. Everything is structured, videos are attached, and it's just my methodology of hopefully trying to help guys and girls get into the shape that they always wanted there.
I'm just going to speak to something because I've experienced this week, but you say it's difficult, and it is. One thing that I'll often say to clients is, it's as difficult as you want to make it. So like when we did legs together on Monday, I could have gone through that same routine. Had you not been there, it wouldn't have been as difficult as it was, because you were sitting there cueing me, chirping in my ear, and getting into the mindset, which is what some you talk about a lot. But just being able to, it all starts in the mind. You challenging my mind then transferred right throughout and made it, like I said, more difficult than it would have been if you weren't doing that.
Well, I'm not a carrot or a stick guy. What is that?
I'm not familiar with that one.
So you either give someone a carrot to encourage them, or you give them a stick. I think I've just got my own sort of methodology. I keep using that word, methodology. But during those 30 reps, and I have little things, when you've been working out for 35 years, you learn some stuff there. And I get a bit of stick from science-based guys. I don't really know what these guys are, but my science is based on experience for 35 years and knowing exactly what works. And not overtraining, not undertraining, not too much intensity. But first of all, I really focus on mobility so that I can work the muscle through its entirety, through its full range of movement, which in turn enables me to put the correct amount of load on. So we were having a chat, how many times people would say, "Oh, what do you bench, bro?" And my retort to that would be, well, how many reps, what tempo, what angles. So I like hitting the muscles in different angles and different rep ranges, but tempo is my thing, which I believe really helps to hone a physique. And again, the 6 to 8 to 12 guys, the big dudes, they were great, as we say in Ballymena, fill your boots, but don't knock it until you've tried it.
I agree with that. So, and you may just touch on some of this stuff, but you've been in fitness for 35 years. How do you view things differently now than maybe when you did starting out or in the early days? I know you talk about longevity a bunch. You've been tagged as the 30 rep guy. Is that new stuff that you've been valuing, or is that the 30 rep guy? Could that have applied to you back then?
I've been doing 30 reps since I was 19. I think there's one thing in fitness, there is a quick fix. There is a quick fix for a short period of time. So I think that the standards that I have set all those years ago with regards to range of movement and mobility, they've stood me in good stead. That people would come on and say, listen, how do you get abs in 6 weeks, or how do there is a quick fix for a short period of time, and I think those quick fixes, I'm not big into transformations. Let's go on this 6-week journey of transformation. We're gonna cut out all your carbs. We're gonna work out 3 times a day. Yeah, that will work. But what happens when the 6 weeks are over and you're into the 7th week and you haven't got that buzz, you haven't got that adrenaline? Again, it's that word that I used 5 minutes ago, consistency. It's just doing the small things well with consistency. I think that's the key.
Agreed. Motivation comes and goes, but discipline to be consistent. That's what I haven't been it nearly as long as you, but people ask me, I've probably missed 1 full week. That's the most I've ever gone without working out in 14 years.
And
It compounds over time.
Yeah.
So
it's just building those foundations, and your physique is a testament to your consistency.
I got 22 years to catch up to you, though, so how important is nutrition in all this? And I'll have some follow-up questions, but let's just start there.
Well, I believe fundamentally what you put into your mouth has ramifications aesthetically, obviously to how you look. If you eat rubbish, ultimately you're going to look rubbish. Hormonally as well, especially older guys, going back to the whole longevity thing, the correct amount of fats for me as a guy coming mid-50s is important to help control my testosterone naturally. I know maybe this is something that it has to be said. The TRT is a big thing, and there's a bit of a wave in the UK. I get guys in 20s and 30s going, could you advise me on TRT? Nope, I don't know anything about it. And the only thing I do know, if you decide to go down that route, that's it. It's over. And so I try to maximize my reduction in cortisol, my trying to keep my natural testosterone through nutrition, through sleep. Again, I'm not reinventing the wheel, through mobility, through putting the correct amount of stress on the body. I believe as well in having the right people in your life. We have a term in Northern Ireland, I don't have any melters in my life. Do you know what that means?
Any what? Melters?
Is that your Northern Ireland accent?
Yes. Melters.
Melters.
Okay, what does that mean?
No people that are gonna suck energy out of me, right? That's what would say. Your man's a melter. So like coming here to Reading, coming here to Smittyville Fitness, the guys, the energy that was coming from the guys, and we're all taking energy from each other. And Jeremy was there, and Colin, all different guys, but it was amazing. And I think I must be half American or something, because I just thrive on that, and that wants me to give out more, and in return I want to get more back. And that's what not having any melters in your life is, and I suppose that's a choice.
Yeah.
And I'm in a position now that I wasn't great with boundaries. My mum used to call me Vicky, and this is a Northern Ireland thing. Hopefully this will get lost in transition. There used to be an advert on TV about orange juice. Right, this is going to really bore it. And the man was from Del Monte. It was a brand of orange juice, and the strap line was, "The man from Del Monte says yes." So I used to say yes to everyone, no matter what, at the you know, at the detriment, is that a word? Detriment? Of my family, and I just couldn't say no. I just, yes. Glenn, will you do this for me? Yes. Glenn, will you write this? Yes. And it was just exhausting. And again, at my age, I'm still growing, I'm still learning, you know, in life. I think once we stop learning, I'm learning to put boundaries in, and I'm learning to just say no. I hadn't a clue where that conversation went.
That's very good.
It seemed to meander somewhere.
You're right. So this was something that kind of took me by surprise. I know the answer to this, but do you ever cheat? Cheat meals is a big thing. Do you ever cheat?
No.
I know you say you're not a foodie, but how would you, like when you're training clients, is that what you're trying to get them to level up to? Is just...
So I always say, if I ask you to maybe, we spoke about my bar being so high. Yeah. If my bar is there, maybe I know realistically my clients, not being disrespectful, they might be able to do that for a certain mile, because I've been doing it for so long. Yeah. If they can get to here, and again, it's just back to those 1%. You know, those just being, I think being organised is the key. And even coming away on holiday, I have lots of food with me. It was difficult getting it through immigration, yeah. But the lady was very nice. Don't get into trouble for saying this.
No, you're good.
But the lady was very nice, and making sure you're just organised. And I'm always sort of thinking 2 or 3 meals ahead, so that I don't get into a situation of, oh, what am I gonna eat? Everything's very methodical. People ask me to track calories. I don't really, you know, I eat. I have a good relationship with, you know, with carbs, and some people think, oh, carbs are your enemy. Carbs are your friend. Good proteins, good fats, and again, especially for us older guys, not being afraid to eat good fats. For carbs help me with my energy and my replenishment. Obviously, the proteins help me with muscle repair, muscle growth. Well, muscle growth. Can I increase my hypertrophy at my age? You know, maybe I'm trying to just to hold on to what I can. You know, you're a lot younger than me, so you still have that potential. So you're just maximizing my testosterone. It's all about our hormones, guys. We're driven by our hormones. So I just try to optimize my natural testosterone and make sure my cortisol is balanced as well.
I know you speak on this, but meal timing and macro timing, how important is that?
It's so important. And if I'm not organized pre and post, I would rather not train. I would rather not work out. I don't see the point in that. So I think one of my little chitty chats is when I say don't waste a single rep. So it's the same, you know, it's don't waste a single meal, don't waste a single, because the amount of people who have gone to the gym over a period of time and they never change, and I'm not being disrespectful, but they probably look the same 10 years ago, and that they probably have got, don't want to say they've got worse. You know, there's been no improvement. And again, that's just about that carb periodization, making sure you're eating the right amount of protein, not overdoing protein. I'm not big into supplements. I would rather have food. Back in the day when I was learning, I would have been prone to taking too much protein shakes, and my urea count was very high in my kidneys and my liver, so just because I took too much protein. So I think I'm on the lower end, and I have 1 gram per pound of body weight, so I don't one thing I do in order to stay lean and being lean all year round, I don't overeat. My portion control is very good. I would run on a close deficit. Again, that just takes a little bit of resilience to get used to. I never eat a meal. I'm stuffed. I think once you're stuffed, you're stuffed. You've had it. I don't take fats around I call it my window of opportunity. So it's how I maximize my nutrition before, during, and after my workouts. I think it is the secret to having a half decent physique at 55.
So I saw you post yesterday and you're doing your post-workout meal and it was a bunch of fruit. My question as I saw that was, do you do protein? So you do no fats around the workout, carbs, but where's the protein fall in that free post-workout?
That would be the meal after. So most people's daily routine after they would finish working out, well, I'll get a protein shake. I don't really do that. I just try to utilize the carbs and replenish the glycogen immediately afterwards. Then a period of time, maybe 30 to 40 minutes afterwards, that's when I would introduce my protein. And I don't take fat in that window as well, because I don't want my digestive system, I know it's a lot more intelligent than I am, to get yes, it's here, see, let me start. It's fancy pants. We'll see before the end of the podcast how many more colloquialisms that you can get in. What was talking about?
Your protein.
Oh yes.
Tell me about.
Yeah, so I don't want my digestive system to have to be working overtime when I have maybe some carbs and fats immediately afterwards. I would rather that it utilised, again, I'm just simple, that it utilised the carbs for replenishment and not detracted from that process of digestion by throwing fat in there as well, because it takes longer to digest that fat. So again, I think it's comparatively simple. My workouts are simple, my nutrition's simple, my lifestyle's simple. I think people can't really overcomplicate things, and SADS based and supplementation, or what is it? We eat food and we move and we exercise. So
I was sitting there yesterday with my post-workout is I do Greek yogurt with fruit and then a little bit of organic maple syrup. And I'm watching you eat. It's good. Don't knock it till you try it. Remember that. But I'm sitting there eating it and you're eating nothing but carbs. And I'm like, I must be doing this wrong. But I try to get, because it gives me 40, 50 grams of protein on top of the 100 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
But
you've got a lot more muscle than me,
You might have to try it though. Use straight carbs, see what happens. So we talked about this a little bit before, but I'll just ask, how important is mindset when it comes to all these things? We're talking nutrition, exercise, the discipline of it. Talk to us a little bit about that. How would you coach up somebody who's struggling in the mind?
I think having a goal is important. I've always had manageable goals, achievable goals, so in my sort of mesocycle of a year's training, in that block I would have maybe want to do a high rocks, maybe I want to be able to squat my body weight 30 reps, maybe I want to be able to do some 40 unbroken toe to bar. I try to challenge myself and have little achievable goals along the way. And I think when it comes to aesthetically and your physique, if you're so focused on how you look all the time, that can be a bit demanding and a bit tiresome. So all these little goals along the way ultimately help to create a physique, help to create a lifestyle. So I always encourage my clients, as part of my Sculpt program, every 2 weeks there's a little challenge. And then, for example, it might be 100 air squats for time. So in your training block, in your training, mesocycle is just a fancy hands term for a period of exercise. So I'm always challenging the self, and maybe, again, you need to be careful as well, not comparing myself to others. Is that when I was bodybuilding for many years, it was all about comparison, and that can be difficult as well. And that's probably why I got out of competitive bodybuilding, because it was that comparison. You know, there's a round called the comparison round, when you come out and you compare yourself to 20 other guys, and again, that can have, you know, ramifications, that can have issues as well. So it's all sort of interlinked. And again, as you get older, you get sort of that little bit more, not confident, but assured of who you are and your purpose in life. And I think that just comes with time. The mind, it's a battlefield. There's a lady, Joyce Meyer, she says it's the battlefield of the mind, and there will be highs and lows, not just in life but during the day. And I think it's how you cope with those peaks and those troughs. And again, that's where my faith would come in. That's where the circle of people that are in your life would come in. That's where Gillian, you know, knowing what your purpose in life is. Like you're a real driven guy, and you know what your purpose is, and you're on a journey to get there. And there's gotta be, you know, it's a narrow road.
Yeah.
You know, that my biblical, if I try to base my life on, you know, on the Bible and what it says, and I think I know it's a blueprint for life.
Yeah,
and it helps me navigate every single situation that I find myself in. And as a daddy, as a husband, I know in this day and age it's probably not, you know, it's not the thing to say, but I don't care. I say it anyway. I am the leader of my family. I'm there to provide and with you and to protect. And you know, that's a big responsibility, and I want to do that. And I think if the family to me is everything, you know. So,
well, since you brought up faith here, it's a good segue. How do you view fitness as it relates to faith, or how have you brought faith into your fitness? And here's a question: do you believe it's honoring God to eat healthy and to be in good shape? I know that's people seem to debate that, but
well, I believe that if we're a vessel of the Holy Spirit, you know, if we have the sort of, if we are made in the image of God, I know maybe I take it to extreme. Maybe that's something that I need to look at. I have a conversation before, but what's the difference between being obsessed and being disciplined? You know, there's maybe a fine line there. I think maybe the people who wouldn't have too much discipline would say, oh, he's obsessed, you know. So I think if you get the balance right, you know, I try to put everything naturally into my body, stuff that grows, stuff that flies, stuff that swims, grazes, you know. I believe that's a godly pursuit. So my faith, and I believe as well that God has maybe given me this vehicle, you know. It's a good starting point, you know. I think there's maybe not enough Christians in the fitness industry. I know, like the likes of Rich Froning, a great hero of mine, and there's other athletes, you know. There's a big thing in soccer as well at the minute. The Liverpool goalkeeper Alisson is, every time they win, he puts up his t-shirt, he said, Jesus loves you. I believe that this is the environment, this is the place that God's placed me. Not to ram it down people's throat, you know, just to be kind and try to show love and kindness.
yeah.
I do get a lot of abuse on social media. I have a little bit of an antidote to so that doesn't infiltrate me as a human being. When someone says, oh, he's on steroids, or he's doing this, or he's doing that, I just try to retort with love, and I just say, listen, bro, God loves you, God bless you, Jesus loves you. And it sort of it detracts that negativity, and once I've done that, that's it, gone, you know. So it's a method that I can, you know, sort of, I call it in Teflon. You could put, you know, I can be like Teflon, nothing can penetrate me, as long as I'm, you know, I'm walking with God, and I'm trying to retort hate with love.
Yeah.
Not easy sometimes, you know.
No, it's not. But love conquers all. That's what the Bible says. So.
Amen.
So what parallels do you draw from your faith as you push through a workout? I know we've talked about things throughout this week, and you've helped me address mindset, drawing on my faith. How do you do that?
That's a good question. So I believe fundamentally that the Bible can be a blueprint for our life. I always say to my kids, you know, it is written. When Jesus was in the wilderness and Satan came to tempt him, was it 3 times? 3 times. He's more of a Bible scholar than I am. And Satan came to tempt, and he said, again, it's a bit like me trying to retort hate with kindness. He said, it is written, and it is written. So that I have certain things, certain Bible verses that are very important to me, and have stood the test of time. No matter what situation I find myself in, that there is, if I'm anxious, I can go to the Bible and say, be anxious for nothing. If I feel in lack, there's a verse there that encourages me that God will provide. If I'm fearful, you know, there's numerous verses, fear not. And I know it's not even the same, but I have different Bible verses that help me when I'm in the gym, because you can go to dark places, and one of them is my favorite. So if I have 10 reps, this might sound very shallow. No, so I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And so there was an instance yesterday when we were struggling, and well, I wasn't struggling. You were a little bit, and I suggested, why don't you try that? Yeah. And you know, okay, it mightn't be life or death, but I think the more that we can input, you know, those Bible verses into our mindset as well. So if you're struggling for anything, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. It's 10 reps.
Yeah. Well, that helped me. I know we were on the leg extensions, and I was lifting all of about 20 pounds, doing a single leg. And this is our second set, I got to 18 reps. You were trying to push me to 30. And I didn't get 30 the first time, and got maybe 25. And I was at 18, and I just remember saying, Glenn, I need you. And you came over and you basically recited that and got me. I was at 28, and I was like, hey, I'm 2 away, and did the last 2. So that was helpful for me. Just
most of the Bible verses that are appropriate to me, I have them tattooed. Which I wouldn't advise anyone to go for tattoos, but once you get one, you've had it. You've got lovely skin, and don't ruin it like me.
I like your tattoos though, but yeah, I'm clean on that. Nothing, but I've contemplated doing something. Don't do it. All right. So last question here before we wrap up. If you had to give just one piece of advice for someone looking to start or maybe restart, commit to their fitness journey, what would that be?
Well, I would, first of all, get the right people around you. I think community is very important for sustainability. Like, I've come in here today for the last few days, and the community that you guys have built here it's very special. So I think this is a very special place. It's Millie Built Fitness, and I'm not just saying that. We say, do you know the term? Can I say? blowing smoke up here.
Yeah.
Do you know that? So some things
Yeah.
cross the pond.
Yeah.
And so community is important, surrounding yourself with the right people. I have a coach. But when I say to people, well, you've got a coach, yeah, I think it's important that you have some level of accountability. Again, all my programs that I have accountability, we have weekly calls. So if you're starting any journey, I would surround yourself with the right people, build that community and that trust and that relationship with your coach. And I think that accountability over time will be sustainable as well, because I think we're designed to have community and be around people. I train on my own the 99.9% of the time. Well, I have George beside me, Miss George. Anyway, that's another story. So that I know that probably doesn't sound, what sort of advice is that? But community is the key. And we were training with the guys today, and it was brilliant banter. Banter there.
Yeah.
And so the crack, the crack was 90.
The what? The crack was 90.
The crack was 90.
I know.
Do you know that?
No.
I'll let you research that.
All right.
So it's another Ireland thing. So yes, results come from community and consistency and longevity as well. It's not a quick fix.
Yeah.
There are lots of quick fixes out there, and they do work. Quick fixes do work, but I always think when you end a sentence with "but," it's pretty formidable what you're going to say next.
Great.
So it's just community, relationship, consistency, and having goals along the way.
Well, that's one of our verses. We got it on the t-shirt there, but it's kind of part of our mission statement. As iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another. And I agree, we're not meant to do life alone. And even when it comes to fitness, I don't think you'll never be as successful on your own as you will be assembly. So
That's amazing.
well, Glenn, it's been a pleasure, and you've been a blessing to me and to this gym. To the people inside it, man, I know you've made quite the impact.
This guy is special. This place is special, and maybe one day you will find out about how you met and the coincidence that's not coincidence, because we don't believe in coincidence. So this is a special guy, and I would encourage you to get the Smittyville Fitness, because this is a special place. And at the leader, I think it's important that you have trust in the leader, and he is authentic, he is real, he's a family guy, and you can see the respect that just his I wouldn't even say staff, because they're not like staff, they're your colleagues. There isn't any hierarchy. Okay, sometimes there has to be a hierarchy, but this has been such a blessing to me and my family, so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart.
I feel like we're in Braveheart right now. I've never seen that movie.
Let's get the guns out. I told you his guns are so much bigger than mine.
All right, Glenn. Appreciate you, man.